Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. I'm nervous now. I'm nervous, I'm peed off, and I feel as though this is just one big Chelsea media conspiracy to get us excited and stop complaining about results. We thought we were getting Enzo Fernandez. I thought it was done as of yesterday. Serves me right for not doing enough digging. It serves me right for just simply believing every source and every tweet and every different variations of ordering of certain lexis within sentences on social media. Serves me right. We're not signing Enzo Fernandez yet. I thought it was done. I'm sorry. If you come to me as your source of information, don't come to me as your source of information. Come to me for your source of opinion on said information, because I'm not a journalist. Never have been, and I probably never bloody will be. Enzo Fernandez, we're going to begin with this story today. We're then going to talk Murdryk, we're going to talk Jorginho, Kante and Badiashile. But once we have diagnosed the problem that is Chelsea not yet signing Enzo Fernandez, to me it's a problem because it's been the positivity that's been keeping me excited this week. I'm not going to lie to you. It's the new year. Chelsea out of nowhere just want to spend our club record transfer, supposedly, on Enzo Fernandez. However, it's now being reported that we never actually did go in and try and break our transfer record to sign Enzo Fernandez. So I'm going to break this down for those of you that may well be confused about what's going on here. And the reports are coming in from various different journalists. There is a lot of Argentinian journalists who are giving their 2 cents on things right now. And I think we've also got to remember in the world of journalism that there is a lot of sales that goes on, and powerful words and exciting stories do sell. And I do think that a lot of journalists will be riding off of Argentina's success, and talking more about Argentinian players right now sells, particularly the ones that everyone's talking about. Obviously, Messi just writes his own headlines, but Enzo Fernandez is a player who all of a sudden the whole world is talking about post-World Cup. So it makes a lot of sense. So now I've actually come to this understanding and stop being so stupid, George. Don't believe everything you read every 5 minutes of the day until you've seen tick, 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 tick across the board and players holding up shirts. That's basically the lesson to be learnt here. But still, we're gonna quote Simon Phillips from Twitter here. According to Fabrizio Romano, Chelsea lowballed Benfica with an 85 million euros offer for Enzo Fernandez after verbally offering the release clause first. This annoyed Benfica to the point of asking for the release clause only. Romano says, let's see if Chelsea go back in. I think at the moment, as we've known over the course of the last couple of transfer windows, not just with Chelsea, but with all massive deals that go on in the footballing world, there are always agreements done with the players. Chelsea won't have an issue with offering Enzo Fernandez a 5-6 year contract with terms that he's going to bite Chelsea's hand off for, because Benfica cannot offer the same wages. However, Benfica are in a position where, as a result of the player being contracted to the club, Chelsea, they know there's a release clause there, and a verbal agreement, it's like a gentleman's agreement. It means absolutely nothing until you got your pen out and you start writing. I was going to do the Gerrard there over the lens of the camera, and I thought I can't afford to buy a new one at this moment in time, so I'm not going to do so. This doesn't surprise me whatsoever, because I think Chelsea want to enter negotiations with Benfica. I'm trying to see this as a little bit of you see your mate down the pub and you want him to get the next 10 rounds and you don't want to buy one for him. So how do you go about doing this? Well, first of all, you just say to him, you know what, mate, I've got 100 mil coming, so I'll sort you out next week. Chelsea have kind of gone in there and done that, and then they've just they've offered what Benfica will consider peanuts. You see how this whole bar thing goes about now? You've offered peanuts as opposed to what Benfica are actually asking for. And then Benfica, it makes a lot of sense. And in this video today, we're going to kind of look at 2 different psychological elements and aspects to Todd Boehly's transfer approach here. One of which I think is really good in Chelsea's favour. The other one is stuff like this, where we see verbal agreements coming in and then you're kind of underestimating a club like Benfica, who, yes, they are known as a selling club. However, there is a massive financial gap between 85 million euros and 112 million euros. And I think Chelsea are kind of underestimating Benfica here and their ability to stand their ground. And that's what we've done. And at the moment, it looks as though talks have kind of closed down. And Benfica, if they are digging in their heels and saying, give us that release clause or just piss off, mate. Chelsea, what are you going to do about this? If we don't get the man now, best believe someone else will probably get him in the summer. He'll probably absolutely keep killing it in Portugal because he's that kind of player. And then what? Do we find a central midfield replacement this January? Do we then just go and get another loan of like a Saul Niguez or a Dennis Zakaria just because we want it to be, I don't want to say cheapskates because I know a lot of people think this is a very overpriced signing, but at the end of the day, Benfica have got what they're asking for. Benfica also have the player Chelsea want and desperately need. How bad do we want him? That's exactly where this one ends at this moment in time. I'll keep you guys updated as soon as possible. By the way, if you haven't yet seen, late yesterday, as in evening UK time, I posted my Chelsea Man City preview. Link is in the description if you want to go and check that out. Story number 2 that we are going to discuss today is Chelsea's bid or approach, shall we say, because they've not actually dropped a flipping mosquito light on the floor. We've not made an official bid yet for Murdryk from Shakhtar Donetsk. But I want to also discuss why it's beneficial for Chelsea that we're moving the way that we're moving regarding going for certain players. We've seen it last summer. We're seeing it again now with Chelsea going in for players that rivals want. Arsenal thought they could go in for Murdryk for 50 million euros. It's looking at the moment as if whoever's going to sign him is going to have to spend £85 million. That is almost double the fee that Arsenal were trying to poach Murdryk for from Shakhtar Donetsk. Now, whether or not Todd Boehly and Chelsea genuinely believe that Murdryk is of the kind of perfect winger mould that we spoke about yesterday for Chelsea Football Club, Chelsea coming in means that Shakhtar Donetsk are in an incredibly strong position. So whether it's intentional or not that Chelsea, Boehly, whoever it is who's like auctioning and sanctioning all of this, Chelsea doing this kind of business is brilliant because what it does is it forces Arsenal's hand and makes them spend significantly more money when already on a tighter budget than Chelsea Football Club are, which is genius, by the way. And then, as a result of that, Arsenal get far less for their money, and that means Chelsea can keep on muscling with the financial prowess that we have to keep us as close as possible to Arsenal. So I don't know how many of you have looked at it that way, but to me, this is economics and psychology all being mixed into one here from Chelsea Football Club in order to try and keep the reins tight on Arsenal right now as they continue to soar into the distance, into the stratosphere, away from Chelsea Football Club. So we can keep the blue tint of London for a little bit longer if we're trying to force Arsenal to spend an additional 40 million quid than they would have to if Arsenal were the only club going in for Murdryk. At the moment, it's looking more and more likely that Chelsea could actually not just be doing this for the little hypothesis that I just created, but more so as a genuine interest, as Murdryk is the perfect winger, apparently, in the eyes of Chelsea Football Club. So, next 24 hours, we're going to find out more about this one. My personal prediction is that he'll still end up at Arsenal Football Club this January, or if he doesn't this Jan, it will be next summer. We move to discuss a bit of news regarding Jorginho from Nizar Kinsella. Now, Jorginho's contract is up this summer. We have talked endlessly on this channel over the last year about both Kante and Jorginho maybe being offered new deals. Should Chelsea keep both of them? Is it time for both to move on? Or do we keep one of them? My opinion has always been to keep N'Golo Kante. Injuries or not, when he's fit, he's still world class. And it looks as though Chelsea might well be in advanced talks to keep N'Golo Kante at the club. More on that when it breaks. But Napoli are keen on Jorginho. His renewal feels 50-50 amid the Enzo Fernandez talks. This is pretty clear. Jorginho does love Chelsea. I think Jorginho wouldn't mind staying. It's always been the agent who's always been pushing the agenda about moving him back to Italy. Napoli are keen, and at the moment, I think in terms of the is it Kante or is it Jorginho staying pendulum, I think it's more in favour of N'Golo Kante right now. I'm not sure why I'm pointing to the left, really, or is it to the right? I don't know. Doesn't really matter. But I think Jorginho leaving is an inevitability if Enzo Fernandez comes in. If Chelsea sign Enzo Fernandez, his agent's going to be looking at it thinking, we're not guaranteed starters every game anyway. Now we've brought in a 21-year-old for what's going to look like a record-breaking transfer fee. My client is out of the door. We want Naples. We want blimey, pasta and pizza. I never edit out my mistakes, by the way, just because it just makes me feel a bit more natural as a presenter in front of camera. Just a little tip for those of you that want to get into making videos about football or anything really. Just take the piss out of yourself. It's better than constantly trying to correct yourself and be perfect all the bloody time. But I'll tell you some news that is as good as perfect right now for Chelsea. Benoit Badiashile has passed his medical. It is here we go confirmed. 38 million for a left-sided centre-back who is 1 metre and 94 centimetres tall, which is outrageously tall. I'm excited about this one. I think it could be a gamble, again, because he's only 21 years old, a signing for the future. But I will say this, if it means that Levi Colwill leads the club, I'm fuming. Levi Colwill must stay at Chelsea. He's a future England captain, so keep an eye on this one. Haven't seen the player holding the shirt up yet, but medical's done. It's as good as completed. Thank you guys so much for watching. City tonight. It's going to be fun, isn't it? 6 Things We Learned will be out straight after the game. Within the hour is what we're pushing for the rest of the season. Come on, you Blues.